How to deal with medical gaslighting. What is medical gaslighting? What do I do? What should I do? What can I do? Let's talk about it. Hello everybody, my name is Lindsay. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. Here on YouTube, I upload very girly girl, lifestyle, fashion, makeup, chronic illness and disability awareness and advocacy content. For today's video, I am doing another video in the series that I have been doing of questions that I really commonly get asked. I have already done 2 videos in this series. This is the 3rd video in this series, and the first 2, if you're interested, will be linked above. I talked about when is it time to start using a mobility aid, as well as how to be confident with medical devices. But for today's video, we're going to be talking about medical gaslighting. How to deal with medical gaslighting, what is medical gaslighting, what can I do if I experience medical gaslighting. All of these things we're going to be talking about today. So let's just get right on into this video. What is medical gaslighting? I feel like when talking about medical gaslighting, it's important to acknowledge what medical gaslighting is and what that can look like. Medical gaslighting is when a healthcare provider invalidates or dismisses a patient's experience or concerns, which can often lead to a delay and lack of proper treatment and diagnosis. This could be invalidating your concerns that you're expressing. This could be ignoring or downplaying the symptoms that you're experiencing, refusing to investigate things in more detail and further, saying that it's all psychological is also another example, which I have heard this way too many freaking times. Medical gaslighting is unfortunately just far too common. I am going to provide the little disclaimer that obviously not all doctors are bad doctors. I promise. There are good ones out there, and I wouldn't be alive today without some of the good ones out there. So I just want to take a moment to appreciate and thank the medical staff and community, because I know that stuff is so bad right now, and with all the cuts and just everything that's happening, like I know that our healthcare industry is so stressed and under so much like constant pressure. But medical gaslighting can lead to really unfortunate results. It can cause delays in diagnosis. For me personally, I wasn't diagnosed with my hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome until my early 20s, and that was over 20 years of me growing up not knowing what was wrong, but always knowing that something underlying was wrong. Unfortunately, medical gaslighting played a huge part in that, because I kept having these issues come up and no one knew why, and they were like, oh, it's just because you're a woman, it's just growing pains, it'll go away, it'll get better. I was dismissed for so long, and I was so young to be having issues, and it caused a significant delay in my diagnosis, and I know it's that way for so many other people with chronic illness and everything. So I do want to say thank you to the healthcare workers out there, because I know, especially since COVID, it's only just ever been chaotic since then. So I just want to say thank you out there to the good ones. Your work doesn't go unnoticed. But unfortunately, medical gaslighting is a very real experience that hundreds of thousands, probably millions of people have experienced in the healthcare system, and I think it's important to talk about it, to continue to raise awareness so that people just understand that it's not okay. We're allowed to talk about those experiences. I'm not trying to bash anyone, but I do feel that I want to raise awareness and speak on the issue, because it happens to way too many people, and myself included. Now getting into the advice aspect, now that you all know what medical gaslighting is, what that can sometimes look like, how do I deal with it? How do I cope? What do I do? Well, first thing that I would recommend is learning how to recognize the behavior of medical gaslighting. Knowing when someone is medically gaslighting you is going to be a really important first step in terms of standing up to it. First, you have to learn and recognize when you're being medically gaslit, because if you don't even really know that it's happening, then you can't do anything about it to stop it. Knowing how to recognize medical gaslighting is going to be your first step in fighting it. Seeking support. Personally, really don't feel comfortable going to appointments unless I have someone with me. As someone who's experienced so much medical gaslighting, I always feel like I need that extra backup, and when I have that backup with me, I feel safer, and I feel like I know that I'm going to be respected and taken seriously, because it's not just me, which is unfortunate, but it's a reality. I've had times where I was alone in doctor's appointments and I've just gotten completely obliterated, and before I was healed enough, practiced enough of advocating for myself and standing up for myself, that can be really hard to do when you're alone, and that can be really scary and intimidating, and I just took it for years and years and years and years. So seeking support is something that has definitely helped me experience medical gaslighting less. Bringing someone with you to appointments. Sometimes I'll literally call my mom on the phone and be like, my mom's on the phone so that she can hear this, which also kind of adds another level of accountability. If someone can't physically be there with you, sometimes being on the phone can be helpful. It's something that I do that just makes me feel safe when I go to doctor's appointments. And God forbid, now I'm thankful that I'm at the point in my treatment process where I have my treatment team of individuals that are absolutely amazing. I literally would not be alive without my treatment team right now, and I'm so thankful. But it also took me 20+ years to get that treatment team together, so it's not something that just like happens overnight. Document, document, document. Documentation is going to be your best friend when experiencing medical gaslighting. This in kind of two aspects, where if a doctor is not helping you or taking you seriously, really listening to your concerns and questions, make sure that they document it or that you document it. If you say, hey, I really think that I should get a tilt table test because I'm really suspicious that I might have POTS. If they're like, no, I don't think you have that, you just need to drink more water and you'll be fine. Whatever thing it is. If they refuse to give you a test that you requested, make sure that they document that. Ask them, say, okay, well, since you're refusing to run this test, can you document that in my chart so that I can go see someone else who will do that test for me? Sometimes calling them out and being like, hey, if you're gonna refuse me this test, you're gonna document why. If a doctor isn't taking you seriously, asking them to document that, especially if they straight up just say no to, if you're like, can I get blood work done or can I do some other kind of testing? Say you got one test done and it was normal, you look great, like everything's fine. That is like chronic illness nightmare when your test results come back normal and positive, and it's like, why is that a bad thing? That's a common misconception. Why do people want their test results to be bad or negative or to show things? And that's because we want to feel better, and the only way we can feel better is if we have answers. So that's why we want the tests that we're doing to show those answers so that we can do things to feel better. If a doctor is refusing to listen to you or to pursue further testing and other stuff, ask them to document it in your chart. And if it doesn't, you need to document it, because sometimes if you do, they'll be like, oh yeah, I'll document it, and they just don't. Unfortunate, but that also happens a lot, in which case you need to document that. I recommend writing down the date, the time of the appointment, the doctor you met with, whatever kind of doctor they are and what their practice is, who they work under, and then writing out in detail what happened, what they said to you, different things like that. Documenting those experiences that you're experiencing where you feel like, wow, I was just really medically gaslit. Write it down, make sure you document it so that you can take action on that and you still know that information. Because I know with me, I have a lot of brain fog, and if I don't write it down after it happens, I will forget. Next thing is know that it's okay to let out how you're feeling and how the gaslighting affected you and how that made you feel, because unfortunately a lot of times medical gaslighting very quickly turns into medical trauma. Remembering to validate your feelings and to talk about it, allow yourself to feel, can be really important in terms of healing from it and it not turning into long-term trauma. God forbid, we can't control that. Sometimes it just is traumatic and that's just what it is and we just got to deal with it. But letting that out and talking about it can be a really good reliever. Personally, that's why I'm in therapy. I know therapy is not for everyone, so sometimes just talking about it or ranting about it, even if it's in like a Reddit group, if you want to do it anonymously, finding people who get it and talking about it can be really helpful and help you feel less alone. Reminding yourself that what you experienced is very real. A lot of medical gaslighting makes you feel like you're thinking there's a problem, but there's really not. There is a problem. You're entitled to how you feel and how you felt during certain experiences. Feel those emotions and let people know that that happened and that you're feeling that way. This is also super, super important. If a doctor is not helping you, if they're not listening, if they're not taking you seriously, ask for a second opinion. Fire your doctor. It's okay for you to ask. You don't think anything's wrong. Can you refer me to someone who might be able to help or who might have other tests that they can do or insight that they could provide? If you're getting medically gaslit, switch doctors. Asking for a second opinion is going to be really important, especially if you get a doctor that's not willing to listen to you or take you seriously or run tests. It's okay to ask for a second opinion, ask for a referral to see a specialist. If they're not going to help you, it's okay to try to find someone or pursue someone who is going to help you. Being firm and calm is going to be your best bet when you're dealing with a medical gaslighting situation. This actually happened to me while I was in the EMU. One of the doctors like didn't know anything about me and my chart, and I was asking for pain medicine, and this doctor came in and was like, don't ask for pain medicine if you don't need it. And I very calmly but also firmly put my hands on my bedside and I looked at this man and I said, sir, I can exist in pain that you wouldn't even be able to imagine and appear to be completely fine because I live with that 24/7. I'm currently stuck in a bed, which makes my chronic illness and condition worse. My Ehlers-Danlos, my connective tissue disorder, makes my dislocations and my pain very, very severe because I'm not able to get up and move around how I normally am. And I am not getting the as needed pain medicine that I have prescribed to me at home. I am in a 10 out of 10 pain and I need something that will work. And he said, okay. That was the first time I had ever, and needless to say, when I was saying this, I had tears in my eyes. I literally started crying when I was saying this. I still remained calm and I remained very firm with this doctor. Being as firm and calm and matter of fact as you can is definitely going to be your best bet. I've definitely had interactions where I did not stay calm and the interaction did not turn out that well, and that was like honestly partly on the doctor but also on me too for my reaction, but also like I was literally traumatized. I was being yelled at by this doctor and I yelled back. Like, is that the best thing for me to do? No, but I also was glad at myself for like standing up for myself. But firm and calm, if you can, is probably going to be your best bet, best results in terms of preventing escalation, but know that that takes time and practice to get there if it's not something that comes naturally. I was more of a person who just kind of sucked it up and dealt with it, whereas now I'm finally getting that voice where I'm like, that's not okay, that's not acceptable. It's okay to stand up for yourself, be kind to yourself, because that can take time. If you're not naturally someone who is able to be calm and firm in that environment, that's okay. Like I said, I said that all while tears were in my eyes, and I think that doctor realized like, oh shit, she might be sitting there with a smile but she feels horrible, like I judged her before I should have. Advocating for yourself is so important, because honestly at the end of the day, no one else is going to advocate for you other than yourself. And if you really think about it, no one knows your body better than you do. No one knows how your body feels, what you go through, what you experience day to day. You know your body best, so you're gonna be at the end of the day the best advocate for yourself because you know your needs. Not something that comes easy. I still barely can stand up for myself with doctors without crying. I've gotten a lot better, but still, especially when it's a comment like that, I've learned, I've developed the skills. I practiced having to stand up for myself and advocate for myself, because honestly it's not a skill that comes easy, and it can be really intimidating standing up to a doctor or anyone that you're experiencing medical gaslighting from. It can be really scary, but advocating for yourself is so important. It's vital. It's so vital when you're experiencing medical gaslighting to advocate for yourself and to stand up for yourself, especially if you're alone, because literally no one else will. It just can sometimes take some practice to get to that point where you feel confident enough to do that for yourself, and that's okay. It took me years and I'm still working on it. And you're not alone in that. I hope you know that, and I love you. You're doing amazing. I'm really proud of you, because medical gaslighting is scary and traumatic and horrible. And I hope that this is helpful so far. Reach out for help if you're experiencing something. Reach out to a patient advocate. This is something that not a lot of people know / do, but there are patient advocate numbers that you can call and you can ask. If you have a really bad experience, you can ask. If it's not immediate where you are, you can look it up online. You could ask a nurse or a tech, say, hey, what's the number so y'all's patient advocate? I'm pretty sure they're literally required to give that to you, but I have only called a patient advocate once. It was after one of my intubations. I think it was related to medicine or something. Honestly, that was traumatic. I really don't remember a lot of it. I did end up reaching out to a patient advocate because I felt like I was very severely disrespected, completely not listened to. I called a patient advocate and that doctor came in and apologized the next day. So that advocate definitely tore in a new one. And it's not even to get someone in trouble. It's to be like, hey, this action wasn't okay. What can we do to make it better next time and to make sure that this doesn't happen to someone else? That's never my intention to get anyone in trouble, but if there's like a significant altercation or issue that I feel sick and horrible about how I was treated, then I'm gonna speak up. And if you necessarily don't feel comfortable doing it in that moment, calling a patient advocate can be a great resource for you to still get someone to help you speak up and amplify your voice in that moment when you don't feel like you necessarily have one, especially in like hospital settings. That can be really hard. Reach out to a patient advocate if you're experiencing gaslighting and stuff like that, because it can be really helpful. I have never had a doctor apologize to me the way that that doc did, and honestly I don't think he really understood until the patient advocate laid it out. So that's another thing where it's like, it's just communication, you know? Sometimes things just don't get communicated right and there needs to be clarification and an apology. Like, it's as simple as that, and then we were completely fine. So patient advocate. If you can't have a family or a friend or someone with you to help you advocate, call someone else to help you. You don't have to do it alone. Practicing self-care, being really kind to yourself. Medical gaslighting can very quickly turn into medical trauma. Medical trauma trauma is no joke and it's hard to live with and deal with. I still have nightmares from medical trauma. She's in therapy, trust me. Be kind to yourself because medical gaslighting is a lot and it's emotional and it's draining and it's scary and it's intimidating. It makes me defeated. There's so many feelings and emotions that can come, especially depending on what the gaslighting situation entails. Being kind to yourself because you're already dealing with a lot. Find support where other people who have also experienced medical gaslighting. This could be on my channel personally. There's a lot of us with chronic illness here who kind of share our health journeys and experiences, and I know I've seen so many comments about you all experiencing medical gaslighting, and I've experienced it too. Finding support with people who get it and who have also experienced things similar, it can be really helpful. Finding that sense of community and support can oftentimes help you feel a lot less alone in what you're dealing with and struggling with, and hopefully give you a little bit more confidence in terms of dealing with it in the future. Make sure that you are keeping a detailed symptom journal of kind of everything that you're experiencing, because something that I've found in personal experience is that the more evidence that you can give your doctors, the better off that your appointment is going to be. Say that you're wanting to look into a POTS diagnosis, you're not going to want to go to your doctor and say, hey, I think I have POTS, because they're going to be like, well, why do you think that? Yes, some doctors it can be enough where if you just kind of explain everything you've been experiencing, they might take you seriously, but unfortunately a lot won't. If you have a symptom journal and say, okay, this is every time that I had a migraine, this is every time that I had pre-syncope or syncope episode, and this is when I was experiencing really bad tachycardia, your blood pressure, all the different kind of things. The more evidence and things that you can show and information you can give them, the better off that you're going to be, because they naturally have some other stuff supporting you. They're going to ask you, why do you think that, or why do you want this test? The more information you can have to give them, and I recommend writing it down as well. It can be a lot to think about and to remember, so I always have a little notepad that I write down every single thing, every symptom I want to talk about, every issue I have, every question I have, because I know that when I get flustered or when I get anxious or when I get in the room that I'm so prone to forgetting different things that I really want to mention and say. So make sure that you write down different things that you want to talk about for your doctor's appointments, because especially even if you are experiencing medical gaslighting, like I said, that can be really flustering and make me stress out and completely forget my questions, but having a set list of things that you know you want to talk about can sometimes redirect those conversations if it starts to go down like a really gaslighty route. The more that they could see, I feel like a lot of times seeing is believing with these doctors, which is really unfortunate because a lot of times we should just take people's word for it, but there is also, of course, always the people who take advantage of that, but majority of the time people genuinely just want to feel better and find answers for why they're feeling a certain way. Know that it's okay to explain in detail why you feel that you would benefit from a test or treatment or different things. If you're like, oh, well, I really need to use a mobility aid, and someone's like, oh, no, you're too young for a mobility aid. It's okay to explain and to go into more detail why you feel that you would benefit from a specific treatment or aid. It is more than okay to be persistent in what you're asking for. If they are not listening, then you need to reaffirm and firmly restate what your wants and needs are, because even if an appointment is not going in the right direction, your needs are what is most important. Your needs is why you are at this appointment, for you, your health, your well-being. If they're not listening to you, you can very politely be like, okay, well, I understand that you feel this way about this situation, but I have a concern about my health and well-being, and I think that this test is very vital for my safety, and ruling this out. This kind of goes along with advocating for yourself, but it's okay to be persistent and to revoice your concerns and your worries and your needs, and you're valid in that, and you're allowed to do that as the patient. That's your job, is to tell them what's wrong with you so that they can try to help you feel better. Hopefully reaffirm your wants and your needs. Something else that I found to be really helpful is asking a lot of questions. Ask as many questions as you can think of, as you can write down beforehand, especially if they're making a certain decision, they're saying no to a test or anything like that. Ask them why. Ask them, why are you refusing me this test? Why are you refusing me the use of a mobility aid? Why are you making the decision that they're making? And have them justify it. And that way you can say, okay, put that in my chart, say you're refusing me this test because you don't think that I have it. Put it in my chart and refer me to someone else. Ask them questions. If they're not listening to you, if they're not taking you seriously, challenge them. Ask them why they're saying that. Ask them why they think I'm too young for this illness. Don't just take it. I've had some really good doctors and some really bad ones. There's always going to be both ends of the spectrum. If you're unhappy and you don't have a good experience, a lot of times you can provide feedback or a complaint. A lot of times I'll get surveys after different appointments like, how did your visit go? It can be sometimes helpful helpful if you experience medical gaslighting to actually fill out those surveys and different inquiries of how was your appointment, how did it go. Providing feedback or filing a complaint with the office can actually make a difference in terms of how the doctor treats you in the future, but also treats other people and other patients in the future. It's okay to provide feedback, if not encourage. That's why they do those feedback things and surveys and stuff, especially if you have a bad experience. I think it's really important to provide feedback and or file a complaint, whatever that looks like for you. Usually I end up just doing the feedback aspect unless it was like really bad, in which case then I will file a complaint. Providing feedback can be really helpful in terms of the doctor getting feedback that they need to become a better physician. This one is super important. If being dismissed has led you to literal physical harm, pursue legal action 100%. If someone's malpractice or mistreatment or gaslighting like literally led to physical harm, file a lawsuit. Pursue legal action. That's not okay, and unfortunately this is the case that happens with so many people, is that we're dismissed and we're let off, and then that delays very important treatment that can literally change our entire lives. And a lot of the times early intervention is key with so many things, and a lot of us aren't getting that early intervention because we're not being taken seriously. It does happen. It's not out of the question where someone's medically gaslit and then it leads to literal physical harm, and it's horrible when that happens, but it's so important to stand up for yourself because that's not okay. It's not acceptable. Well, we are winding down this video. These are just kind of a few things that I want you to leave here with and thinking of and knowing and just remembering. Know that you are not alone in experiencing this and experiencing medical gaslighting and having to cope with it and learn how to address it, deal with it, stand up for yourself when it happens. Know that you aren't alone in experiencing this. It happens, which absolutely sucks, but don't lose hope, because as discouraging as it can be when you get doctor after doctor, especially if it happens again and again, that just doesn't take you seriously, doesn't listen to your symptoms, doesn't listen to your concerns, it can be very lonely and confusing and frustrating and discouraging and make you literally just want to give up. But I promise you that there's a doctor out there that's going to listen. It might not be this one, it might not be this one, but there is going to be someone out there who will listen to you and take you seriously. And that's why advocating for yourself and continuing to fight for yourself is so important, even when it gets so hard. It's exhausting. It's so exhausting having to constantly stand up for yourself and advocate for yourself. But at the end of the day, you're literally standing up for your health and your well-being and your life. And that is the most important thing, because you know your body best. You know what your needs are. If you have a feeling in your gut, you have to listen to that. And if no one else is, keep going, keep fighting, keep going until you find someone who does listen. It just takes time. And unfortunately, because of how the medical system is, it's so hard. It takes money, so much time, and it can be really hard to do that. And to see doctor after doctor, it's expensive, it's time consuming, it's exhausting, but you're not alone in it, and you will find that person that will help you eventually. I hope and pray that all of you find that person that will be able to give you that answer or listen to you to where you can get to a better point. Don't lose hope. You're not alone. I love you. You're an amazing, beautiful, magical human being who deserves the best life that you can live and the best life that you want to live. Trust your instincts, because you know your body best, and you are always going to be your biggest advocate because you know your body best and you know when something's wrong. All right, everybody, that is it for today's video. I really hope that it was helpful. I hope that this video helped someone out there. I hope this helped you feel less alone. I hope this gave you the ideas of lots of stuff that you can do to try to help you stand up for yourself. I hope it gave you ideas in terms of different assistance and things that you can do so that A, it doesn't happen in the first place, or B, so that you can address it when it does happen. And I hope that you liked it. If you do, make sure that you give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you have any video requests, and if you made it to the end of this video, comment this emoji down in the comments below so that I know who made it to the end of the video. Don't forget to stop what you're doing and subscribe to join the family. Turn on that notifications bell so that you are notified whenever I upload. I love you all so much, and I will see you in my next video. Sending you all my love and spoons. Mwah!